Yep, going live.
Okay.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Hello to all who are watching right now, wherever you are in the world. It's, what is it here? Good morning to us, from us, here in Queensland, Australia. And yeah, today's live stream is going to be a special one, isn't it, DC?
Yeah. I mean, you can ask us any questions that you want, but yeah, we're going to talk about our upcoming event as well. So in September,
Yes.
we have the carnivore, carnivore and holistic sort of workshop. So that'll be
Absolutely.
good.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes, so that's some very exciting stuff that's going to be happening here in Brisbane, Australia. We are going to be hosting the very first that we know of carnivore event. So it's going to be a carnivore workshop, but as DC said, it's going to incorporate a holistic sort of view on health and well-being. So this is going to be a big step here in the, I won't say just the carnivore space, but the, I guess, holistic space in Australia. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited. So thank you all for tuning in. I've got Sandy. Hey Sandy, thank you for tuning in. Hey Jay, how's it going?
Yeah, I think that's another thing is adding the whole holistic approach because the whole thing is, I mean, even about carnivore diet, strictly carnivore diet, is it's really just about health. It's a health journey
Yeah,
and restoring people's health. Um,
yeah, yeah.
so, and there's more to it than just food. So, I
Yes,
think the approach
absolutely.
that we're taking is that it like incorporating everything, like to encompass everything, to not just focus on the food, but to to optimize our health, not just to optimize our recovery and to and so on
Yeah,
and so on. So I think that's a big step and a very important step as well because
huge.
you have to be realistic about everything as well. It's not just about
Mm.
carnivore diet cures everything sort
Yeah,
of dogma.
yeah,
But
yeah. No, I
yeah, I
agree.
think everything that helps along the way is gonna really help everyone that attends, and
Mm.
we can help people sort of well, you know progress, make progress, and that's what it's all about. You know,
Mm, mm, mm.
because you hear all the time people make these stalls, they get to a certain point and they feel like they're not making any progress, and so I want to show
Yeah,
you how things that you can do, very simple steps, like lifestyle changes, the very small ones. Because, like I've
yeah,
said in my recent videos, small steps or even just small habits have a very big impact. So
yeah.
these are things that we're going to be talking about.
Absolutely.
So,
No,
and of
I
course, you can
totally agree.
ask us anything you want today as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, that is. I think that's a very important point to highlight. The carnivore diet for a lot of people, this is the entry point to, opening your
Yeah,
eyes into this whole holistic view of health, rather than doing the things that we've just been used to, going to the doctors and accepting sort of the mainstream advice. Carnivore is that entry point. It was for me as well. Like, I didn't
yeah,
know anything about, number one, the carnivore diet when I first started. I thought it was just, a fad sort of popular thing that was going on. But, other things like grounding, blocking blue light, um, and being, even movement and exercise. Like, I always just thought it was all superficial. It was all building muscle, but it's actually more to it than that. And yeah, a
yeah,
lot of these things we can talk about, man, in this workshop, and that's, I think,
yeah,
why we wanted to create this. So the whole basis of this event was to make it educational and to make people aware about, things related to carnivore, but also avenues where they could start exploring how they can improve their health. And also to bring that sense of community. A lot of people feel isolated in their journey. So this is going to be great to, get people together in one space, all in the same mind frame, mindset. And yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be amazing, man. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Morning, top of the morning. Guys, if you've got any questions, if you want to ask anything, feel free to, drop in a question in the live chat. If you can add a Q and a colon before your question, just so we know, it'll be really, really helpful to us. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you said, things like exercise and things like that. It's more than just a cosmetic thing as well. And, we'll be talking a lot about that as well, why, the benefits of strength training and so on. And I talk about strength rather than hypertrophy so much. Hypertrophy is more a cosmetic sort of thing, but there's also a benefit to having muscle mass, of course.
Yeah.
But it's really like for longevity and for practicality. Strength training is actually far more versatile and far more useful and healthier than just mass size sort of thing. And of course, you do get a certain amount of size and mass with strength training as well. It's not just about being stronger, which is what it's really all about. But there's also, there's so many different things that people don't. Well, I think it's just largely this. There's the society that we live in at the moment, and for the last 70 plus years, perhaps, is that it's really taking us away from our natural state.
Ancestral.
And people don't realize that the detrimental effect that it's had on and our nervous systems. Like everyone will say, like, well, these people are depressed, or they have, so give them a pill, sort of thing. These people are stressed, or they have anxiety, so we'll give them a pill. And largely it just comes down to the fact that they're just not breathing properly. They're reacting to the things that we have in society, like computers, blue screens, TV, all these different things that affect their nervous system. And that nervous system controls our heartbeat, our organs, everything as well. It's like the way we breathe, the balance of CO2 and oxygen in our blood, all kinds of things, everything in our body, all the processes. But it's, diet is a very large part of it as well. And of course, we've all been convinced to eat a low-fat diet as well, haven't we?
Not a good idea.
It's crazy.
Not a good idea. Yeah. To add on top of that, before we get into this question, because it's a good one, muscle mass is important. I would say, even in the later stages of life, in my particular line of work as a nurse,
especially,
you have a lot of, you've got older people that, have injuries like falls, fractures, hip fractures are very common. And the muscle wasting isn't going to help, with that, with the recovery as well, both with, your muscles and your skeletal system. So it's quite important to build muscle mass. And, with the carnivore diet, with a diet that is primarily, protein and fats, that's going to aid greatly with, healthy aging, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah, that's right.
Got a question here.
And that's a good question. Any advice how to start strength training when been inactive for years. Um, Part of strength training is mobility as well. Like, I think, start small and work your way up. It's kind of, and like I had this trouble when I first started back training as well, because I'd been in bed staring at a ceiling for years, and
Yeah.
I could barely even breathe, let alone get up and walk around and that and so on. But when I did finally start moving again and get into the gym, um,
Yes.
I I tended to try and do too much too soon, you know,
Mm.
and I gave myself, I caused injuries and all sorts of things. So the thing is, build the foundations. Okay.
Mm.
Um, I focus on joint strengthening, just smaller exercises, and this will help also to increase mobility in the joints and give you
Mm.
strength
Mm.
and range of in a full range of motion. So start with very light stuff. You can even, I think, um, if I think weights are a good way to start, because when people tell you that, for example, to just use body weight exercises, if you haven't done anything for a long time, you don't really have the
Mm.
strength to carry your body weight.
Mm.
Whereas if you go to the gym and you can use pin weight machines, it takes a lot of the stress off the joints. For example, machines are going to support you through the range of motion for a start.
Yeah.
So there's sort of less pressure on the joints, um, but it will get you to a point. You can also start very light and work your way up to a point where you can then move on to body weight sort of exercises. There's no point
Yeah.
saying like just do push-ups or just do body weight stuff if you can't lift that much.
Mm. Mm.
Um, so I would start with light stretching for try and get mobility in the joints. Then do maybe some joint specific exercises you can use with bands. Bands are fantastic for that. Okay, but just do light stuff to start with, and then also do start with pin weight machines, because that will support you through the range of motion of strength training. And as you get
Mm.
stronger, then you can. I think it's better to move on to free weights can have a really good benefit, because they can actually move with your body, and depending on your size, machines are not all that adjustable. Um, but yeah, just start small and take one step at a time, and don't be impatient, because building the foundation is going to make the strength gains later on much faster. I know
Mm.
everyone likes to skip these steps, and they just want to jump ahead and start lifting the heavy stuff, but actually at the end of, say, like a 12-month period, if you just skipped ahead and started lifting, you're going to end up weaker than the person who took each and every step, built the
Mm.
foundation, and they will actually have, when they get into the heavier stuff or more advanced stuff, that that progress will happen a lot faster for them. Okay, so that's what I would
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Okay?
No, I totally agree with everything you said.
Other things that Yeah, I mean, other things that I would incorporate though to make the progression faster though is breath work. Okay,
Mm.
you need to build up your CO2 tolerance. And there's a reason for that, which I mean, there's a lot of reasons for that, but you can produce, like, through breath work and being outside and things like that. You produce more hormones. You produce more um, molecules like nitric oxide, D3, and so on and so on, that are going to help you progress faster. But with breathwork and the carnivore diet as well, there are different pathways that you can react the same and get the same reactions, but you can produce more EPO from the kidneys, which is going to produce more blood cells, which is going to give you more oxygen to the cells, and so on and so on, which means more better, faster strength gains. Okay, so do all the small things, incorporate it all together, and you'll make gains really quickly, really quickly. Okay, so it doesn't matter even if you're a beginner or advanced. I recommend doing breath work and, of course, the carnivore diet, because you need the amino acids, okay, proteins. Okay, it's not all just crude protein. We're talking about amino acids, um, and the fats, because the fats is where we get hormones like testosterone and D3, right, which is also going to help stimulate the kidneys to produce more EPO and more blood cells from the bone marrow. Okay, um, and low oxygen tension really works this way. Really works well for that. So yeah, just do all the small things, and you don't need a big time commitment. Like I said, like just small changes can have a very big impact. Okay, so like 10 minutes of breath work in the morning, and you're good to go. All right, you'll get a lot more strength gains throughout the day. So
Mm. Mm.
okay, anything you want to add to
Awesome,
that, man?
man. No, not really, man. You pretty much covered it all. I think, yeah, the key highlights there for me is the small things, and starting off with what you can do, especially if you've been inactive for a period of time, I think is quite important, because I just speak from personal experience. When I took some time off from strength training, I thought when I'd give it a go, um, that I could just jump back to what I was used to, what I was quite you know quite good at, which was at that time, you know, heavy compound movements, but it actually was quite difficult. So yeah, there's just the little things I think are very important. The little micro things that you can add on day by day, and build on
Yeah.
is
Yeah, I
yeah, I
think if you
think
work
it
on
compounds.
mobility first, you got a
Yeah,
lot less chance of injury as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
Walking,
and especially for
walking.
longevity. I mean, it's not just
Mm,
about like living longer; it's about you know the longevity of health. Health longevity, like
mm,
the longer you are healthy, sort of thing. So it's really about you know just being able to move that you know
mm.
throughout your life. Having that mobility makes a big difference. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What is meant
Uh,
by breath work? Okay, well, I've got a few videos you can check out on that. Actually, the last couple of videos I'm talking about breath work, actually, and I give three exercises that you can do, that anyone can do anywhere. Actually, on my last video, um, it's really
I'll watch it.
mostly it's about being breath aware and breathing properly, breathing through your nose, and there are there are different types of breath work exercises, of breath exercise, breathing exercises that will stimulate different hormones and different molecules in the body, and for different reasons, and also hormones that will stimulate more blood production. So yeah, there are a number of things that you can do for that. Okay. I'll also be putting up another video this week, speaking specifically about hormone production and blood cell production through breath work and the carnivore diet. So stay tuned for that.
Mm, look forward to it. Looking
Okay.
forward to it. And I've just put in the link with the video that DC's talking about, so it's all there. It's yeah, I'll watch that as well. All right, let me just yeah. So while we wait for more questions with people who are just tuning in, thank you for watching this live Q&A. So uh, this is free for all. If you got any questions you want to ask, anything about the carnivore diet, anything about breath work, holistic health, please feel free to comment down below. But we also, want to talk about a little bit more about our event that we've got happening in September, which is the Brisbane Carnivore Workshop. And that is, I'll just bring up the details here. It's on my website. If you are in Brisbane on September the 21st, you can attend this workshop, and it's going to be a good one because it's the first of its kind here in Brisbane, Australia. And yeah, for those who have attended meetups before, if you've attended the Carnivore Live in Adelaide and in Melbourne, you know how powerful and how exciting it is to be in a room full of people, your tribe, and just bringing together that sense of community, especially if you've been isolated for some time or you feel like you're isolated in your health journey. This is a perfect opportunity to really help you build those connections in your local space. So Brisbane, come down. Right now, we're on the stages of getting a program together. We've got Coach DC will be doing a talk, and myself. We've got a Q&A session that we've got lined up where people can ask, their, the questions that they really wanted to, ask, I guess people with experience on the carnivore diet, but not just carnivore related things, just, anything related to health that you want to ask, bring it to the day. It's going to be a good one. I'm excited. It's
Yeah, we're also going to
it's a
have
couple of
a like people sharing their own experiences as well.
That's right. Yes.
So
Yeah.
that would be really good. It'd be good to hear other people's
Yes.
stories. We have a Facebook group as well for this event,
Yes.
so
Let me
feel
link
free
that
to
up.
come over to the Facebook. Can you share the
I'm doing
Facebook
it
group,
now.
mate?
Yep. Yeah, doing it now.
Yeah. And so feel free to come over and join the Facebook group. Doesn't matter where you are. Like we still post a lot of information there for you about the carnivore diet and other health modalities that we'll be talking about. There's also a preview of some of the things I'll be talking about there on my Substack. Um, we talk about the carnivore diet with, in conjunction with, breath work and other modalities that I think are really synergistic,
Yep.
because there's a lot of things that cross over. Because it's when we're talking about um, diet, for example, in the biochemistry side of things, when we eat, we have that substrate and we have oxygen that mix. Okay, so that we produce ATP, CO2, EZ water, and other things. Okay, it's not just those three, but there are other things. But it's that combination of oxygen and food, okay, our substrate, that actually starts it all. Right? And it's oxidative stress in the mitochondria, okay, which oxygen stress, okay, that is the problem that actually makes the problem of the mitochondria, mitochondrial diseases, and so on and so on. Okay, so these are all synergistic sort of modalities, and this is what we're going to be talking about. So breathwork complements the carnivore diet, and the carnivore diet complements breathwork. You know, having an efficient gas exchange is makes a very big difference.
Mm.
So
Mm.
whereas a lot of people, and because it's also about controlling our autonomic nervous system. See, a lot of people, when they are breathing, mouth breathing, especially while they're sleeping, for example, if you are sleeping with your mouth open, for example, and you wake up in the morning, you are already in a sympathetic sort of nervous state where you have you have anxiety, you're tired, because you haven't recovered properly, right?
Mm.
Um, and then your day just gets worse from there because you're not breathing properly, and you elevate um, you then sympathetic state into what they call a dorsal vagus state, where you just shut down and you get depressed and all sorts of problems. Okay, so and your autonomic nervous system is like also plays a big role in controlling things like cortisol, right? And your heartbeat, your rhythm, organs. The nervous system is connected to all your organs. Okay, so the function all relates to that. But we can control that by the way we breathe. And it's not just about diet. Diet is a very big part of that. But even animals in the wild, even when they are on their natural species specific diet, when they have a stressful situation, they still get anxiety, that fight or flight sort of sympathetic state, and they use breath work to calm themselves down and to relieve themselves of that tension, that stress. Okay, and the only animals on the planet that don't at the moment are zoo animals and humans. Okay, because we've been we just take for granted that breath. As long as we got air, we're breathing, right? But yeah, it's not. It doesn't work. It's not that simple. It's we are not breathing properly and efficiently, and we blow off too much CO2, which sounds kind of counterintuitive. But if you have low CO2 levels in your blood, okay, that means that you're going to have all kinds of stress problems, your nervous system, but also CO2 is actually the signaling molecule that is attached to your hemoglobin. So it actually picks up the oxygen and carries it to the cells that need the oxygen. All right, and lets it know when to release it and all that sort of thing. So without CO2 in your blood, you're going to be oxygen starved because the hemoglobin is not picking it up. All right. It's also a vasodilator. CO2 is a vasodilator, which means it's going to relax smooth muscle. It's also going to relax muscles in the rest of your body, and also helps with circulation, not just with blood, but with other fluids as well. Fluids. Some of the most important ones. Obviously, you got blood, but there's also lymph fluid, okay, which carries your white cells, for example, which go up to your thyroid and so on, and turn into T cells. But it also is about your cerebral spinal fluid. Right? So this all has a very big effect, and nitric oxide production is another great thing. It's also a vasodilator, among other things. It's also it helps with it enables the transmission between neurons in your brains as well. So very very important. So, but with CO2, for example, if you blow off too much CO2, and what happens very often in certain breath work that you try and do get in different states, is you get muscle cramps. And they call it like T-Rex hands sort of thing, but you can't. You get cramp up, and that's because you got low CO2 levels in your body. So, and that is also one of the reasons why you get muscle cramps when people change their diet. Okay, it's not just about electrolytes or circulation and that sort of stuff. Two of the biggest reasons are circulation, one, but a low CO2 level because they're not breathing properly. Okay, and you'll see that a lot. People are mouth breathing, or they have bad posture. Okay, instead of standing upright or sitting upright, they're not breathing through their diaphragm. They're actually breathing through their lungs, or they're breathing through their stomach, and they're breathing too much CO2 out. Okay, so this is one of the reasons is why they get muscle cramps, because the CO2 level is too low in their blood, and they're just not an efficient breather. Okay, which is going to cause all sorts of problems like bad sleep as well. If you're a bad breather, you're going to have poor sleep. Okay, so there's a very big there's a lot of problems that are caused by inefficient breathing. It's not just about food, but of course, food is a big part. Like I said, you know, the two parts of all of it, all the biochemistry in your body, is food and oxygen. Okay, so the way you
Mm,
breathe and the way you eat, that is it. Those two big things. That is the knock-on effect for everything.
mm,
Okay,
mm. Hey, I got a
so I've
question
pretty
about.
much just done
Oh,
most of my talk.
you done your talk?
Pretty much,
You got to do a new talk now, bro.
yeah.
um,
I have to think of something else
well,
now.
yeah, yeah, yep, yep.
Yeah.
Gotta do another slideshow. Gotta do another presentation. Hey, let's go and talk about this because you put out a point there that I resonate with, but having troubles with breathing when you're sleeping with sleep apnea. I struggle with that
Mm.
for for a long time. Not anymore, but yeah. Talk us through. How can you sort of uh, implement breath work, or how can you help your breathing during your sleep?
Um, okay, so it's really difficult to do this to just train yourself to sleep with your mouth shut, right?
Yeah.
So you can get products now like mouth tape, tape your mouth shut.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that helps. But my personal favorite is actually to use a chin strap, a strap that I sort of strap my jaw shut before I sleep because like I'm not really. I do also talk about things that we absorb through our skin as well. Okay, into our endocrine system, and it affects our hormones. So things like tape with glue and stuff like that, I don't really want on my mouth. Plus, I have a beard,
Mm.
so it's not gonna it's gonna be difficult.
That's not
So I
good.
use a
Yeah.
chin strap. Um, but another thing you can do, like I in my last video, I talk about doing this 3 times a day. Is just 5 minutes. Just train yourself to breathe properly. Okay, so this is going to do a couple of things. It's going to train your autonomic nervous system to trying to bring yourself down automatically into that ventral vagal states where you are relaxed and
Mm.
calm, and that state there is getting into the ventral vagal state is when your body decides to rest and digest its food and to recover. Okay, so if you after exercise or anything like that, you need to get into that ventral vagal state to increase your recovery time, to um, improve recovery time, and that way you will get stronger over time as well because you are in that recovery state. Your body recovers faster. Okay,
Mm.
so there is that. But you're also retraining yourself, your muscles, your breathing muscles, the diaphragm, and all the muscles around it, the intercostal muscles around the ribs and your stomach, and so on. You're also retraining those muscles to practice breathing properly as well, because it's all about muscle memory, how we breathe.
Mm.
Okay, um, and it really it's not a big, like I said, it's a small, easy to do exercise that has a very big impact. So if you just do 5 minutes 3 times a day of just normal, of what we should be doing is like a steady state breathing of 5 seconds in and 5 seconds out, only through the nose, only through the nose. A mouth is not meant for breathing. A mouth is meant for eating and speaking. That's it. Okay. Breathe in through the nose for 5 seconds, out through the nose for 5 seconds, and that will put you on about 5 to 6 breaths per minute. And that's what a natural human breathing state should be. Okay. Yeah, it is relaxing
Oh,
sitting outside too. See, that actually, I was just speaking to someone about that this morning. Okay, like one of the perfect exercises for you to do after a stressful situation. Okay, say for example, post workout exercise. So if you've been to the gym this morning, You've elevated cortisol, you've um, activated mTOR, and you're building muscle, and so on and so on. Just go for a walk outside. Okay,
Mm.
you're doing a number of things. You're walking outside. Don't You'll see a lot of these, bodybuilders and so on. They'll be walking on the treadmill in the gym after their workout, for 20 minutes or so, right? That will help to bring you down into that ventral vagal state, your recovery state, because one, you are doing light, very light, easy to do exercise for walking, and
Mm.
that in itself will help to activate the ventral vagal state. But you also return your breathing to a natural state of just in and out through the nose. All right?
Mm.
But if you do this outside, it's going to be much more effective. Okay, breathing through the nose, because the gland for our nitric oxide production actually is in the sinus passages, right? So we breathing in and out through the nose, we produce more nitric oxide. But another source of nitric oxide is being out in the sun, because
Mm.
the just like D3 activates in the
Yeah.
in the liver through the through the skin. Through the skin, being out in the sun also activates nitric oxide release from the skin into the body as well. The other source, there's three. Okay, the other source is the carnivore diet. Amino acids like arginine. Arginine has uh, three molecules of uh, was it nitric? Was it anyway? I'll think of that later for the talk. But foods rich in arginine is a bioavailable source of nitric oxide in the body as well. Okay, so this is why I mean, like, the carnivore diet and breath work are very synergistic.
Mm.
So um, for post workout, or anyone can, this is good for anyone. Just walking outside, just going for a walk
Yeah.
outside. It's a low state exercise. Okay, you produce more nitric oxide, you know, two ways, and that also being a vasodilator also helps you to get into that ventral vagal state, and breathing in and out through the nose. Okay, just nice, relaxed, calm, steady state walking is really healthy exercise for even from beginners to advanced post workout. Okay,
Mm.
so it's really going to help with a lot of different processes. This is why
Yeah.
a lot of people say walking is king, because it's a great state for us to be in. Okay, I
Yeah.
don't believe in steady state running, jogging, and that sort of stuff. Either sprint or walk.
Yeah. 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 From like an ancestral point of view as well. I mean, you wouldn't see,
Oh,
hunter gatherers go for a jog, to keep that steady state of
no,
cardio. No, no, it was,
yeah, that's right.
let's be efficient in
Mm.
how we
Oh,
move.
bone health too.
Um,
Like steady state jogging, for example, puts a lot of pressure on your ankles. Okay, whereas
yeah.
sprinting, you're elevated, your ankle is elevated, and walking is
Yeah.
low impact. So
Mm.
even from a joint perspective, you either sprint or you
Yeah.
walk, and that's
Yeah.
that's just the way we've developed. Mm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely being outdoors, I think, is another thing that you could easily implement into a lifestyle. Whether that's going
Oh,
for a
yeah,
walk
yeah,
or even just spending 5 minutes outside in your quiet time. Like, I know a lot of people work in offices and cubicles and really don't have that moment to spare, but it doesn't take long to head on out,
mm.
just for a stretch and get some sunlight
Yeah,
and practice some deep breathing. So yeah, I think,
yeah,
all of
that's
these
right.
things on top of carnivore, you compound over time, and that absolutely will impact your health outcomes that you want to achieve. whether that's weight loss
Yeah, that's right.
or just generally feeling better,
It doesn't have to
doing
be
those
deep
things, it
breathing, is it?
helps.
Just
No,
breathing. Hmm.
yeah. Look,
Um,
like,
a lot of people, for example, have trouble with meditation, and
yeah,
a lot of that is because especially like like conditions like ADHD, which
yeah,
I have. Um, a lot of the reason for being in an ADHD state is because you're living basically in a sympathetic nervous state. Okay, because you're not breathing properly. Okay, so you get a lot of
mm,
oxidative stress in your mitochondria and organs and things like your heart rate. Your heart rate elevates, and that causes
yeah,
you to try and breathe through the mouth more, which causes the nervous state to actually elevate more, and your heart rate increases, and all sorts of. It's just like it sort of bounces off each other.
mm,
Um,
mm,
but if you have trouble meditating, for example, because you're always thinking too much, you know, the the pathway to get into a meditative state is through natural breathing. You know, you need to calm the mind. You need to calm the nervous system first through proper breathing, more efficient breathing, and sometimes deep breathing, but sometimes just normal. Be breath aware, um, and then you can calm the mind. You know, but you will not calm the mind without doing breath work first. It just won't happen. Okay, so
just
any more
sorry, there
questions?
you go. I've just typed in here. Yeah, guys, feel free to ask any questions, carnivore related, breath work, health hacks. Anything you want to ask about, please feel free.
Yeah,
And yeah,
yeah, anything
we'll
about
answer
health
the best
is
we can. Hmm. Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
So
hey, back to breath work because this is interesting. It's come up on my news feed a lot. But what do you think about the nasal bridges or the things that open up your nasal passages? I know when I was having sleep apnea, that was one of the things I was using was the nasal tapes to open up your nose. What are your thoughts on that?
yeah, yeah. I mean, breathing through the nose is actually the same as like anything. You use it or lose it. And as we get older, if we spend our life not breathing properly, we actually do lose the ability to breathe through our nose. The nasal passages will sort of close up, and people start getting that blocked nose sort of feeling, and they keep sniffling a lot, and they keep speaking and breathing through their mouth, and so on and so on. Okay, um, so yeah, I think if you are at a stage where the nasal passages, and there are some people that might even need operations for this because they grew up not breathing properly, and their nose will close up. So anything to open that up again, yeah, if that's what you need. But a lot of it actually will come down to just the same as any exercise. It's like muscle development. The more you use it, okay, the better it becomes. And it really doesn't take long for breath work to be very effective. Actually, like when I started, for example, like I was bedridden. I could barely breathe. I was looking at the ceiling all day, and I couldn't even hold my breath for 10 seconds. All right. So
Mm, mm,
it does improve, and it does improve quite fast. So
yeah,
it really just
yeah,
comes down to being mindful of the way you breathe, okay, and
yeah,
practicing.
yeah,
The same as anything.
yeah, yeah. And I think with the carnivore diet too, when you lower the inflammation, obviously people talk about the weight loss. And I think for me personally, when I was struggling with sleep apnea, it was to do with a lot of inflammation and just the weight around my chin,
Oh
my
yeah.
neck and whatnot.
Mm.
Within a few, I'd say probably a month of carnivore, my sleep apnea went away. So, the carnivore diet really helps with that. It helped with me with
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
helping out
like I
with the
said, like it's very
breathing
synergistic
at
sort of
night.
thing.
Yeah, yeah, big
Yeah.
time, big time.
Um, yeah, and like weight and inflammation are a big thing.
Yeah.
But I think the way people speak about weight loss these days is is not
Superficial.
nuanced enough. Um,
No.
it's very superficial, and
Mm.
it's not the only biomarker for health.
Mm.
And this is what people seem to think it is. Like, as long as you lose weight, then you're healthy. You know, or as long
Yeah.
as you're lean, then you're healthy, and that's just not
Mm.
true. I was
Yeah.
I was very lean and fit. I was very fit when I was diagnosed very high stage four
Yeah.
cancer. Right? Um,
Mm.
and that was only one of my problems. I also had stage three kidney disease. I had liver disease, and both of them were all of them, most of my organs were shutting down. Okay, so plus I had a large tumor. Right, so being lean and fit does not mean that you are healthy, not by a
Yeah.
long shot.
Yeah. No,
So I think
absolutely.
that the there's just not enough nuance about the conversations that people are having about health at the moment, where
Yeah.
it's all about weight loss and looking good for everyone wants that fit looking, you know muscle magazine sort of
The
physique that
yeah. Yeah.
does not mean you're healthy.
No. And that's all
And I
stemmed
think
from
that's the problem.
this.
That's one of the biggest problems.
Absolutely. And that's stemmed from this image that the fitness and I guess you could say health and well-being space have, highlighted and shown us, you know, all the time. It's that, let's get
Yeah,
down to the bodybuilder weight or, the body fat percentages that look appealing, but in actual fact, it's not an accurate representation of what optimal health should be, in my opinion, because we do need fat. I mean, people
yeah,
blame our ability to store fat as a bad thing. It's served quite an important purpose in our survival. Like without the ability to store fat, we wouldn't have survived through the periods of not being able to eat because of food scarcity. Um, and
that's right.
so, yeah, people just look at this image of,
And there's
oh,
other
this
things to it as
guy,
well, like ketones support our brain health and everything
yeah,
like that too. So,
for brain health.
um,
Yep, yeah,
and
yeah.
macronutrients as well. I saw a video this morning. Um, I think it was old guy Carnivore was reacting to
Mm,
this ridiculous. We don't speak about protein with enough nuance either, and
mm, mm.
see, like protein, like crude protein as a whole, is not what we absorb. It's not what supports our body structure. It's the amino acids,
Amino acids. Yeah.
okay, the molecules that actually make up proteins, okay, that is what we absorb. Right?
Mm,
So, yeah, you can get protein from plants, and you can get protein from all these other different sources and stuff like. But they don't have the amino acid makeup that we get from animal sourced meats. Okay,
mm.
um, it's like there's this. I mean, it's been the fitness industry. It's just such garbage. It really is, and it's all being hijacked by big food as well. So you get
Mm.
these things like high protein ice cream, for example.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be kidding me, right? I mean,
Mm, mm.
they don't think
Oh,
about, okay, what are the amino acids in this protein? What else is in this ice cream? For example, like most ice, like 99.99999% ice cream, and let's say 100%, also has seed oils, and it's not just the fat content; it's the oil content and the
yeah.
sweeteners and the sugar and all sorts of other crap. You know,
Yeah.
so they're
Yeah.
trying to hijack our, protein's healthy sort of thing, and put it
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
in this amazing amount of stupid junk food that everyone's
Yeah.
addicted to, and so look,
Yeah.
we've made protein this and protein that. We've got protein cookies, we've got protein bars, we've got protein ice cream, and yeah,
Have a look at that. I
protein
saw that
water
in
for
the
God's sake.
shops. Protein
Yeah,
water. And by who? Look, you've
Yeah,
got
and
a
notice
health
it's
brand
Chupa
there,
Chups.
Chupa Chups,
Yeah,
with a health brand company. I was walking
yeah.
past it the other day, and I thought, "Oh, I got to take a photo of this." But that is exactly it. Yeah, they've masked. You know, it's just all smoke and mirrors. Really, this is just nonsense. The way
It's just
we've
disgusting.
been.
It really is.
It is disgusting. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of it. It's just pure evil. It
yeah.
really is.
You hear about
But
these sports companies come up with these new
mm,
formulas to say, to give it this idea that their product is healthy and it's safe and it's okay.
yeah,
Now
mm,
they're probably going to start adding the words carnivore into their products. And I've seen it. I've
oh yeah,
walked in
mm,
supermarkets and I've seen, you know, a carnivore, you know, product, and you look at the back and you look at the actual ingredient list, and it's it's still got junk in it. Like they make us a fools. Like they think we're fools, but I think
yeah.
people
That's
are
it.
starting to open
Yeah.
up.
Well,
Yeah,
the problem is a lot of people, they kind of are. They don't look at ingredients. They don't look at ingredients, and they people have bias. Like people, they
yeah,
like this food, so they'll do mental gymnastics to make sure that
yeah,
to tell everyone that it's healthy because of this and this. And
yeah,
they just don't think about it with enough nuance to realize that it's very detrimental to your health. Like, I
yeah,
mean, there's even so-called carnivore influencers out there that come up with these ridiculous recipes. Like carnivore
mm,
chocolate, for God's sake. You know that's ridiculous. Just nonsense stuff. Like, and they say, "Oh, but we use honey." Honey is like, even the most pure honey is forty
mm,
percent fructose, like the worst
yeah,
carbohydrate you can eat for your liver, right?
yeah,
And your
yeah,
brain. Okay, there's. I mean, when you eat fructose, especially, like, just processed in the liver directly, but then it
yeah,
forms a triglyceride fatty tissue around the liver, which is its job. It's supposed to do that before winter, right? So that we get fat and fatten up and that sort of stuff. But
yeah,
fructose will then that triglyceride gets into the blood, gets up to the brain, immediately causes brain fog and things like that.
mm,
So
mm, yeah.
it's it's just the way people are. And like
Yeah,
I said, they
it's
don't
tough.
think about these
Yeah,
things, these processes with enough nuance. And
yeah,
this
yeah,
whole protein kick now by the fitness industry is really where it gets its big footing, and you get
yeah,
ridiculous things like pea protein and vegan friendly protein powders and all this sort of crap.
yeah,
But it doesn't have the amino acids that you need. You know,
mm,
it's
yeah,
full of all kinds of other products like seed oils. Okay, and it's insane. And they don't think about the fact that these, like seed oils, for example, and all these other things that are in them, and these plant-based proteins and so on, phytoestrogens that are
yeah,
going to produce more estrogen in your body, okay, and
yeah,
lower testosterone and do all kinds of things, which is good. That, which, like I said, I was talking about before, actually producing more blood cells. You need testosterone for that as well. So
mm,
it's not
mm,
just about having low testosterone, which is going to affect especially men, but libido and sex hormones and so on, but also for women. But it's also going to lower
mm,
your blood cell production.
yeah,
So
yeah,
what is that going to do to you?
yeah,
It's going to
yeah,
lower your immune system. It's going to make you much worse off in the gym or any kind of sport or anything like that. So yeah, it's nuts. It really is, and
yeah,
the people
yeah,
behind it are just pure evil, honestly.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but you get these
No,
ridiculous people on these influencers on YouTube and social media and say, "Oh, I'm a vegan athlete." No, you're not. you know, and
yeah,
so on and
yeah,
so on. But like high protein ice cream and high protein. Like they've even got like that protein water, but they've even got like high protein candy and chocolate bars and basically that's what
Yeah.
protein bars are. They're just high protein chocolate bars, right? And they're full of the
Yeah.
same junk. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just crazy.
Absolutely. I think if you can wrap it up in a package and market it, that's what people are most
Yeah,
like these big companies, that's their main goal is to make profit, and that's what it
yeah,
is.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I think for people who, to play devil's advocate, for people who are starting off on carnivore, with the, you know, when it comes to getting into the diet and transitioning, it can be tough. And I've, we've spoken to about it before.
Oh yeah,
With sugar addiction, it's very hard to overcome that in a span of sometimes weeks, sometimes months. It might even take a year. And so, understandably, if you know, and again, I'm not justifying that things like honey or doing it, following a carnivore recipe is the best thing for you. But if it's going to help you to get to that end goal of abstinence, of cutting out carbs and sugar, so be it. But everyone's journey is going to be different. Not everyone's going to go straight from
yeah,
0 to 100 and cut out junk completely. Like it takes time. And so
yeah,
that's what people need to realize as well. Like you can't just expect results on day dot to think that carnivore is going to fix everything and it's going to happen from day one.
mm.
It does take time, and it's not always these big leaps. Sometimes it's going to be, I might have to just introduce a little bit of carbs because of my gut microbiome, or, that because I've come from a vegan diet and I've changed it overnight, it might,
Yeah,
it might be best to do it slowly for, a couple of weeks. Introduce yourself to animal foods.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
all an
yeah,
individualized process. Yeah. Hey, Rick.
yeah. That's right. Exactly. I think especially that it's all going to depend where you're coming from, what your health is
Yeah.
like when you start. Hey, Rick, how you doing, my man? But
Good to see
also
you.
depends on you know what you've been eating, what your diet has been like previously as well. Like
Yeah.
for example, if you're vegan and then going to carnivore diet, your body has to get used to going from like it basically
Yeah.
eating itself and breaking down because of the vegan diet, but
Yeah.
then processing fats and proteins and so on. It takes time,
Mm.
and I think like it's a
Yeah.
transition that would take at least 12 months for many vegans. That are, like any long term vegans anyway. So
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a process as well. Like not like you may achieve, pure. You might get to a stage where your health is doing really well. After a year, maybe in carnivore, or a year and a half. It's good. It's good. But you know, life is life. It's not gonna
yeah,
be, a linear progression. Sometimes you might have dips, and I'm gonna say it up front. Like sometimes I'll have dips in my health as well. Sometimes it could be diet related. It might be to do with exercise or not getting enough sun. So it should always be in someone's mindset to not just stop at I'm full carnivore. I'm this is it. You know,
yeah.
peak health from here. No, it should be a constant progression, and expect the
Well, it's about consistency,
dips
isn't it?
and
You
troughs.
know.
Yeah, yeah, and it's about consistency. So it's not just also pointing at the fact that you've slipped up, or you've come, you've fallen off the wagon. It's about how you bounce back. So
Yeah,
that
that's right.
is one of the things that people need to realize.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's right. And like I said too, like it's about the combination. Like it's a
yeah,
synergistic approach to your health.
yeah,
The way you breathe has a very big difference
yeah,
to how everything's processed as well. So it's not just about food,
mm,
and you will have times, especially stressful times, where you just don't feel like doing anything,
That's another one. Stress.
and
Yeah.
you know, stress can have a very big effect, and that this is why breathing properly, for example, helps us get into
Mm.
that ventral vagal state to help us deal with stress. And even if you are on the natural carnivore diet or your species specific diet, and we
Yeah.
all deal with stress still. It's not just about just because you're on a carnivore diet doesn't mean it's all sunshine and rainbows. You know,
Yes. Yes.
um, so
Exactly.
there are things that, and developing these habits will take time as well. It's about replacing the bad
Yeah.
habits with the good habits, and
Yeah.
even when you are in a good routine, every now and then you still may fall off the wagon and say, "Well, I don't feel like doing this anymore," sort of thing, or I don't feel like having a cold bath, or I don't feel like doing my breath work, or something
Yeah.
like that. And you will
Yeah.
have fluctuations in your health. Everyone
Yeah.
does,
Yeah.
because no one's
Exactly.
perfect. You know?
No. No. So Josephine, I wish I did it slow. It's been hard getting off the sugary drinks. Food easy. Always love my meat, but hard when people around you go, it won't hurt. It's just one meal. Yep. And then it
Yeah,
just turns into 10. Not good. Ah, look at that. That's the
yeah,
struggle.
that's exactly
Um,
right.
that is a
Mm.
struggle. And with the modern society, adding these pressures in to these, I guess, social norms that, for example, this whole thing about, oh, it's just one cheat meal, it's not going to hurt, you know,
Yeah,
people,
it cascades.
they don't think about it. Like it's obviously, it's so normal to just say, it's okay. It's once in a while, once in a blue moon. But, you know, if you were to be black and white about these things, we all know what is not good
Yeah,
for you and what's bad for you.
mm.
And I think you don't even have to be on the carnivore diet to know that. Like a lot of people will justify knowing that, this isn't probably the best thing for me, but they do it anyway.
Yeah,
So when you've got society
yeah,
honing down and just pressing you, it can be challenging. And so you have to adapt. You have to come up with what I call modern strategies to get over these barriers, because this is new. This is new stuff. This is not something our
yeah.
ancestors
That's right.
have had
Mm.
to deal with. And so we have to find out new ways to work around it. See, our ancestors had this issue of food scarcity, or maybe not food scarcity, but resource scarcity. And
Yeah,
we've got the total opposite. We've got a surplus of resources that we have overwhelmed our minds, and now that is how our society is built. So it's like taking a
yeah,
whole
that's true.
new
We're kind
approach
of
to health.
spoiled for choice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
And it's kind of, I mean, the standard Western diet, it's been normalized to a point
yeah,
where these people are eating nothing but crap, like they're eating cakes, cookies, and but it's just this is normal sort of
yeah,
stuff, or they eat their fruit and vegetables, all day long sort of stuff, and then they
yeah.
say your diet's weird, you know. It's like, you sure about that? Like, so
Mm,
you get that peer pressure of people around you not understanding, and
yeah,
oh, it's just one meal, yeah, it's
mm,
never just one meal, you know.
mm,
So,
yeah.
but there's
Another
just
thing
something
that
you have to
I
learn
thought
to deal
about,
with.
exactly, yeah. Another thing that I've I sort of talk about with not just my clients, but people who genuinely have trouble with cravings. Um, and you can chime on in on this too, DC, because I think breath work really helps as a distraction. If you know you've got
Mm.
this, this kick that I need to satisfy this craving. Let's do something to distract ourselves. Often I told people, go for a walk and just deep breathe and check in with yourself, because the signals that your body's telling you, that is a signal you're used to, and that's for comfort. You're chasing that dopamine, and so taking yourself out of the situation, it's gonna be uncomfortable. But if you do things like breath work, deep breathing exercises, going for a walk, getting sunshine, it goes away. It's temporary. It's not a that feeling of
Mm.
you know feeling like shit, and you can't have the thing that you want. It's not forever. It's not permanent.
Yeah.
It does go away. So what do you think about breath work,
No,
man,
that's right.
for distraction?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a number of good things. Like I said, like before, it's about the pair. It's about food and oxygen that makes all the biochemistry work in the body, right, together.
Hmm.
Um, so you actually eat if you are breathing properly, you actually eat less food because you're producing more energy, like ATP and things like that, with what you already have. Okay, so like you actually utilize the stuff that you have in fat cells as well, because
Hmm.
you are breathing properly. You are getting more oxygen to the cells more efficiently. So you actually eat less
Hmm.
food. So
Hmm.
if you are, for example, feeling hungry, try doing some natural state breathing, and I guarantee you those hunger cravings will sort of help go away as well. Um,
Yeah.
if you're craving junk food, breathwork can help with that too,
Yeah.
because it brings down your nervous state as well. When you're getting
Hmm.
cravings, food cravings, usually you're sort of elevating that autonomic nervous system as well. Okay,
Yeah.
so if you can bring
Yeah.
that down, that will actually help with the cravings. Um,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
so it really it does actually have a very big effect.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other side of it is that you also make the whole process of the mitochondria and the health of the mitochondria more efficient as well. I'd like that the respiratory system in the mitochondria, where all this biochemistry sort of reaction happens, is actually
Hmm.
far more efficient when you are
Hmm.
breathing properly. So
Yeah.
um, that's another reason why you eat less as well. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
very, you know, like I said, it's a very synergistic sort of um,
Hmm.
thing. Unfortunately, people just don't think about these things with enough nuance. Like I was talking about
Hmm.
before,
Hmm.
getting the right amino acids, the fatty acids, and the oxygen, those three. Okay,
Yeah.
it's all.
Yeah.
So
It's all linked. Yeah.
it does, yeah. And it's just a simple
Hmm.
thing too. It really is a very, very simple thing that you don't need to do. You don't need to put a lot of time commitment into it. And retraining yourself
Hmm.
to breathe properly also retrains your nervous system. And
Hmm.
eventually, it'll all just calm down, and I don't know, you just feel 100% better anyway. It will.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest difference. Like when it comes to everyone's trying to get the fastest results, right? They all want to be healthy now and have the perfect, everything. If they want everything now, this is part of the today's society, and like social media is to blame for this as well, because we
Yeah.
we we
They want the
always
shortcuts.
they've trained our yeah, that's right, they've trained our dopamine reactions to, like, what's the next big hit, what's the next, and people can't even watch a video for more than 5 minutes now. Their
Yeah.
attention span is just shot. So,
Yeah.
um, but like I always say, like, it takes time for your body to heal. Okay, it takes
Hmm.
time,
Yeah.
and everyone's different, and no one heals. There's no silver bullet that's going to heal everyone, or fix that, or make them stronger, or make them fitter, or anything like that. But
Yeah.
I do believe the fastest way to do it is with the carnivore diet and breath work. Okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
in combination, it's not just one modality. It's never one thing that made you sick. All right, it's
Yeah.
never one thing that made you
100%.
unfit and unhealthy and so on and so on. All right,
Yeah.
it's a combination of things, And it's a
Yeah.
combination of things that's going to fix it. That's going to give you a healthier life and
Yeah.
a healthy body. All right. It's never just one thing. So
Yeah.
yes, diet is a very big part. It's a very big piece indeed. All right. But there are other modalities that you need to incorporate that, like I said again, it doesn't take a lot of time out of your day. All right. It's just small steps that have a very big impact. So,
Mm.
you know,
Mm.
even 10 minutes of breath work, like you can do activation breath work or calming breath work. And that's going to depend on your nervous state, what kind of,
Yeah.
the way you are wired now. Um,
Yeah.
so, like, if you have ADHD, I don't recommend doing a lot of activation breath work because that'll just put you up into a higher sort of dorsal
Elevated
vagal
state.
state.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, activation is great for like before going to the gym or something like that, for example. All right, it'll help make you stronger.
Yeah. Yeah.
But afterwards, you need to bring yourself down into that calming state so that you can actually recover, rest, digest, and so on,
Yeah.
and think straight. Because when you get into those higher like nervous states, you can't think straight, and you get nothing done throughout the day. You're confused, and you get anxiety, and you can't think about what you want to do or put anything into actual process. So
Mm.
that's important. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus, in
Absolutely.
those states, you're producing more cortisol, which means that you are going to have insulin response, and you're going to
Yeah.
store more fat. Right? So you're going
Mm.
to have fat stores and things like that. It's not just about food; it's about your nervous system that also stimulate these hormones that will make you fatter and will make you, you know, and so on and so
Yeah. Yeah.
on. I'm a little blurry apparently, so
Yeah. A little
sorry about
blurry.
that. Must be the it's
Uh,
probably Streamyard. Uh,
yeah. It's a connection.
Streamyard's a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Nothing we can
sorry
do,
about that.
unfortunately. Um.
Yeah,
Yeah. So at the beginning, butter and salt help with
so
the food
it's
cravings,
about
hundred
other
percent.
modalities anyway. Yeah, mm,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
like
100%.
again, like when you get these food cravings as well. Like if your nervous state is elevated and you are producing, you have an insulin response, you're producing cortisol and so on. Like after coffee does the same thing. Okay,
Mm.
um, this is what's going to start cravings as well because you're looking for that next source of that quick hit sort of energy sort of stuff, and then you get
Yeah.
food cravings
Yeah.
as well. So you know if you can put these other modalities together, okay, and like it will make the world of difference. Okay,
Yeah.
like I said, like it's not about a silver bullet sort of thing. It's not going to be improve things overnight, but this is, I believe, the fastest way to get to your end
Yeah.
goals. Anyway,
Yeah. 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 Yeah, at the beginning, butter and
okay,
salt help
and
with food cravings. Yeah, it does. Absolutely. If it helps,
that's good.
I think
Yeah,
people
it does.
should give it a go. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
fat and salt very satiating.
well, that's it. Yeah. And once you get to the stage where you're fat adapted, it becomes easier to obviously oxidize fats, because of the Randall cycle. So I think yeah,
But what else? What else do
definitely
you need
just
to oxidize fats?
oxygen. Yeah,
For sure. Yeah,
yeah,
oxygen.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oxygen. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
you need to breathe. Okay.
Oh, that's
So
where the word oxidation
to
comes from.
improve and speed up these, that's right. So
Yeah,
to speed up
yeah,
and improve these processes, what do you need to
yeah.
do?
Exactly.
You need to
Yeah,
breathe properly. Okay.
exactly.
Yeah,
It's all tied in, guys and girls.
it
Um,
is.
yes, it's
And
peer
I think this
pressure,
is the
not
missing
cravings.
piece of the puzzle that people don't get.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, peer pressure is tough.
It is.
Yeah, like we already said, with modern society, it's not going to be it's not going to be easy to navigate around um, these social pressures, but it can be done. It absolutely
Yeah.
can be done. And I think the biggest thing, Josephine, that you've got to ask yourself is, you know, why is it so important to you that you want to remain consistent? And you know, you just got to anchor yourself to that why. If your why is going to be strong enough to keep you grounded and keep you motivated to get you through, you know, it might just be that. But you can work around, you know, having, I guess, a mental script in your mind to tell
It's
people this is
frozen
what
up.
you're doing. It's not
Mm.
it might sound a bit crazy, but you know, I had to kind of do it too, because you know, you know, my background, I'm Asian, and to tell people that I do not eat rice is a sin. So I had to find a way to kind of, how do I say it, like, I used a lot of sarcasm and jokes in the way I tried to communicate with people, my diet preferences, because they just wouldn't get it. Like, you know, these uncles and aunties that, you know, 4 years on the carnivore diet, they will still ask the same things. Oh, Joff, you're not eating rice. I'm like, yeah, I'm not eating rice. I guess I should be dead now, shouldn't I? And, you know, things like that. And at the end of the day, and again, this is just my personal experiences, most people don't really care. I'm so sorry, guys. I've got someone's doing mowing right now, and it's it's really noisy in the back. So let me see if
Oh,
I
I can't
can
hear it.
somehow. Yeah, but yeah,
No, you're
it's you know, most people, they'll have a comment and they'll say, you know, something then and there, but I think the more you lead with example and you show people that, hey, my health is actually doing, I'm feeling amazing, and you keep telling people you feel amazing and you start looking good, you feel great, people will start to notice and they'll start to really click in and start appreciating what you're doing. That's just my experience anyway. Yes, at first
yeah.
it was bloody difficult,
I
you know,
think
having to repeat myself, but people get over it. People get over
yeah,
it.
yeah, that gets annoying actually having to repeat yourself, you know. Um,
I know.
but I think also it's you know, you got to ask like why is it so important to them to that you eat the same as them, you know, like
Yeah,
ask them, you know, why is it so important to you, like
yeah,
you want me to be as unhealthy as you are, or why don't you want me to be healthy, you know,
yeah.
because
That's it.
really at the end of the
Mm.
day if they're trying to or they're trying to belittle you because of the way you eat, it's simply because one, they are ignorant, they don't understand, or two, they might be just jealous of the fact that you are getting healthy, and you know
It's
that's
probably the latter.
you know unfortunately people
Mm.
yeah people do like to tear other people down when they're trying to do
Yeah,
something, you know,
yeah,
and just remember that I tell people and they say, oh, you know, why don't you do this and why not? I'll just say, I'll tell them straight because I don't want to look like you. you know,
yeah,
simple. Or
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
um, but I don't explain myself anymore. I
yeah,
don't bother explaining myself because there's no point. It's like talking to a brick wall, especially when it comes to family and friends. Okay,
yeah,
um, I just say I don't
yeah,
eat it, and that's it.
yeah,
If they got a problem with that, then that's their problem. It's not my problem. Simple.
yeah, yeah. I think Josephine, just you know, yeah. I think just to cap your question off, I think it's important to ask yourselves the questions of why you want to do this, and work out ways
Yeah.
on how you want to communicate with your network. Like, do you want to tell people you're on the carnivore diet? Do you want to avoid it completely and just, you know, stay in your shell? You know, it's unfortunately it's not the most sexiest thing to say, but it's just about planning. Really, it's about planning your life.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, if you do want to talk about it in more detail, come and reach out, Josephine. You know, I deal with
Yeah.
people who struggle with number one, food addiction, and also to just with social situations and how to deal with it. because it's one of the struggles people go through, but it can be done. It can be done.
Yeah, yeah,
Is this
that's
the
right.
question here?
And like you said, it is food addiction.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why most people are, you know, quite defensive about their, uh,
Yeah, that's right.
their health choices
Yeah,
because, there's a
yeah,
component
that's
of
right. They're very
addiction. Who
defensive
knows?
about it.
Yeah, yeah. I've been on a home remodeling construction job. Most of the guys are overweight. They take breaks to eat. First thing in the morning, some need to use the toilet at the job, some after the break. Yeah, that's pretty common. It's
Yeah,
just, straight to the dunny and oh,
yeah,
sorry, that's Australian term, but yeah, straight to the bathroom before the job even starts. Yeah,
yeah.
that's pretty common.
Well, eating, yeah,
Yeah.
eating before they even get started, having a break before they even get start work. That's pretty common nowadays. You see them, um,
Yeah.
on the construction sites or anywhere actually. But
Yeah,
that
anywhere.
people, they'll have breakfast, then they'll get to work, and then they'll have a coffee or have a
Yeah.
donut or something, and just need something, and
Yeah.
before they even start, and they're
Exactly.
sort of struggling to make it to their first break, then lunch break, and then it's ridiculous. It's crazy,
It becomes
but
ridiculous because
they're
you
carb
think
addicted.
about it. Well, they're very carb addicted, and they just don't. It's hard because no one's really no one's really highlighting that in mainstream. Everyone talks about the alcohol addiction and drug addictions, but when it comes to carbs and food, that's swept under the rug. It's not a thing. It's not a thing that we should be worrying about because X, Y, and Z. But yeah, yeah. I mean, whatever profession you work in, that's pretty common. Like in any workplace that I've worked in, most people it's straight to the toilet, straight to the dunny, scoffing breakfast before they start their shift or get into their office. That's very common, and I'm the weirdo for not eating anything during my shift. Like to me, it just doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
that's
But
right there.
I've
Mm.
that's just me being conditioned to how things work, and you know, um, yeah, you just have to find ways in how to sort of overcome that mentally. But
Yeah,
yeah, at
but
first
it's a bit of a
I
laugh though.
thought,
Like you go to the
oh yeah, it is a
Yeah, like
laugh.
I'll just go through the whole day. Like some days, if I'm just not hungry, I'll completely forget about food completely.
Yeah, yeah,
Whereas other people will be
absolutely.
like, they're always stuffing their face,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's like, why don't you eat? Why don't you eat? I'm like, I don't friggin' need to, you know. I don't
yeah,
need to eat all the time. I don't need to eat all damn day, you know.
yeah,
And you're right, like they're always going to the toilet because it just goes straight
yeah,
through them anyway, because they're eating
yeah,
nothing but fiber and crap. Um,
yeah,
so it's just nuts, and they
yeah,
look at you funny, like, what's wrong with you? Are
yeah,
you
yeah,
kidding me? You're the one
yeah.
sitting on the toilet half the day. So
Oh,
you
it's
know,
funny. I'll tell you another one. I went paintballing the other day with a group. I'm the oldest guy there. I'm the oldest one there. I'm coming in fasted. I've not had anything to eat.
mm,
Um, and we had one round of paintball. These young guys straight into, and I hope they're watching now, and I'll let them know. Like the carnivore guy had nothing to eat for the whole day, played all games, whereas all the young guys they're
yeah,
scoffing their drink, they're getting into their electrolytes and whatnot. Nah, man, not me,
yeah,
not the
chugging
carnivore.
down Gatorade.
Nah,
Yeah,
nah.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, like my friend Andrew Scarborough, he had a brain tumor. He was
yeah.
diagnosed about a year after me, but like now he does marathons. Even like I'm not really big on. I mean, I used to do marathons myself, but I'm not big on
Hmm.
cardio stuff like that now. But like he'll do a marathon completely fasted. Like he sort of he actually fat loads, not carbo loads. He fat loads like for about 3 or 4 days before the marathon. Um, but then he runs faster and he's very quick. He's actually one of the better runners in his group in his club. Um,
Yeah.
and they don't understand why. How does he do this without water, without food? How does he not go to the
Yeah.
toilet when he's running and all this sort of stuff?
When you're running,
Well, most of these
stuff he
other people
eats.
are, they're chugging down all this water and electrolytes and these like gummies things to keep them
Yeah.
going, and then they spend
Yeah.
like got to take a toilet break to go, through the marathon and all sorts of things. It's crazy,
Nah.
but
Crazy.
we're the strange ones.
Yeah. Yeah, we're the strange ones. I've got a question here on Instagram Live. Hi guys, I'm getting started next week. I'm assuming that's carnivore. How long should I expect keto flu to last? I can't put up the question here on
Well,
StreamYard because it doesn't allow me.
okay, yeah. Um,
You,
well, okay,
yeah,
now like that's just assuming that you do get keto flu. Now that doesn't mean if you have a it depends on how you take this on. If you go cold turkey, the chances are you will get what they call keto flu.
yeah,
Okay,
keto
like
flu. Yeah,
keto flu. Um, but if you do a which I suggest most people should do over a 3 month minimum 3 month period. Okay, do a slow progression onto the carnivore diet, then you can avoid that completely.
mm.
Um,
Mm.
like I said, it's about other modalities as well that are going to make a big difference to your progression. And if you do
Yeah,
these from the start, like breath work, sunlight, and so on and so on, um,
mm.
this will improve your chances as well. Even if you do go cold turkey, these will certainly help you get through that situation a lot quicker and a lot easier.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Um, but I mean, I never had to deal with what they call the keto flu because I progressed and I was doing other things as well. So it's not like,
yeah.
and this is going to be very nuanced as well. Obviously, it depends on your health situation now,
Yes.
what your diet has been like previously, and also it's going to come down to um, your genetics, your region, the way where you are, and so on and so on and so on. So it's really just going to come down to dealing with the way you feel on the day that day, and that's all you can do. Really, it's really just
Yeah,
going to take, yeah. But you can't expect. I mean, no one's journey is the same as anyone else's. Okay,
mm.
so I just suggest that you do the best that you can on the day, every day, for as long as you can, and you will get through it. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Janine. The keto flu is a is a I guess a phenomenon that people sort of explain as it could be any symptoms really, um, and
Yeah.
it's not really well, I guess, conceptualized because yeah, it's hard to really pinpoint what it is. But how long should you expect it to last? Again, like DC said, it's gonna be depending on your health overall and just where you are at the now. Uh, so you're gonna have to do a little bit of assessment on how long, sorry, what your diet was prior to you making a change, your current metabolic status, have you been eating a diet that's been carbohydrate based, and if so, if you've been eating that way for a long time, that's going to impact on how your body reacts. But I
Yeah.
highly recommend watching Professor Bart K on YouTube. He is someone who, well, number one, is well versed in the field of nutrition, but he's also one of the only people that I know that say to transition slowly over a period of time. And I think both me and DC are cut from the same cloth. We agree that that's probably the safest
Yeah,
way to transition your diet. And that's, to summarize sort of what Professor Bart K talks about, it's to do with the gut microbiome, the changes in the microbes that live in your gut, and also a bunch of other things like electrolyte imbalances, regulating due to the hormonal changes that are happening in your body. So um,
yeah,
that's just the, I guess, the general way to look at things. But in saying that, not like DC said, not everyone gets the keto flu. Not everyone experiences
yeah,
the side effects that people say online. The skin rashes, the actual flu. Um, it all is. There's a large degree of individuality that comes to what you
yeah,
experience, long and short term.
yeah. And a lot of it,
And I
I
think,
think,
yeah,
yeah, that's right. And I think it comes down to the state of your immune system as well. Like,
that's it
for
too. Yeah.
example, I know some people have said that they get like esophageal sort of mucus and sinus mucus and things like that. So hence the flu term, right? Keto flu.
Yeah.
Um, but again, nitric oxide also helps to clear the esophagus and
Mm.
sinuses of mucus. Okay, now the
Mm.
mucus is actually a response to like your body's response to try and get rid of infections. Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
why it produces the mucus there.
Yeah. It's
Certain
important.
things that actually used to do the same for me with drinking coffee, for example, used to give me esophageal mucus as well.
Mm.
But nitric oxide actually helps to clear that. So, like I was talking about before, other modalities will help speed up these processes. And if you are producing
Yeah.
more nitric oxide, for example, if you are outside getting sunlight, breathing properly through the nose, eating arginine-rich foods, okay, this is going to
Mm.
help clear these sort of problems. Right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I think it's very easily avoided, actually, if you
Yeah.
just do it properly. And the problem
Yeah.
is, a lot of people they get very excited about these things because look, it's going to work.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this and
Change
I'm just
night
going to
overnight.
bang
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
change. Everything's going to change next week. I'm going to be looking great,
Yeah.
all this sort of stuff,
Yeah.
and that doesn't happen like that. Right? Like I said, it takes time for your body to heal, but it's not just about healing. It's also about adapting to the source of food, to your diet. Okay,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
source of all these processes. Your body needs time to adapt. All right, so just
Mm.
give it time. Um,
Mm.
Now, the the only kind of, I mean, when it comes, I prefer, I think, like Jock was saying, like hormonal changes and dietary changes should come over time, but
Yeah.
there are certain times where people do have problems with that because they are carb addicted, sugar addicted, and they can't. Um, some people have a very difficult time just eating small amounts of carbohydrates, for example, or sweets, or so on and so on. So sometimes it just depends on your personality whether you can abstain or um, sort
Yeah.
of regulate that a little bit better. So
Yeah.
that's something you're gonna have to work out for yourself as well. Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
Um, yeah,
It's not an easy
but
answer, is
like I
it?
said, like no, it's really there's never really one sort of this is right, this is wrong sort of answer when it comes to
Yeah.
that sort of thing because it's really comes down to your body how it's going to react.
Yeah.
But I do believe
Exactly.
that the fastest way to do this is to give yourself time, but also to combine the carnivore diet with other modalities, like I've already
Yeah.
spoken about this live, okay, and in other
Yeah.
videos. Um, that's going to give you the best choice, the best chance. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Let's get through some of these comments. I avoid so-called convenience stores here in the US where all the carb snacks are. Yeah, it has occurred
Yeah, that's a
to
good idea.
the panhandlers that are and are carb addicts as well as cigarette addicts and alcoholics. Yeah, exactly. So that's another way to avoid cravings as well. Just take yourself out of the environment. And it sounds like
Yeah,
such a simple thing to do, but for a lot of people, it's habit. Like, and you have to mentally
yeah,
switch on and tell yourself, "Hey, don't do that." Uh, you know, it has to be a conscious thought. Like, I'll just give you guys an example. Like, whenever I used to go to my parents' house, and I only picked this up when I went carnivore, the first thing I would do is stand in front of the fridge and open it. Open all the fridge, open the pantry, open the fridge,
yeah,
check what's in the cupboard.
yeah. If you get
I don't
bored,
think it.
let's go open
Well,
the fridge.
yeah.
Mm,
Well, that's it. And
yeah,
I that was one of the things that I used to do growing up, and I only picked up that habit, or picked up that I was actually doing this when I went carnivore. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I'm standing here in the fridge, looking at the fridge, doing nothing. But it was just habit. So I understand when people crave things. Uh, it's because of the environment. When you walk in the middle aisles of the supermarket, or you go to a convenience store, you're often there because it's part of your routine. It's part of your habitual practices that you do every day. You stop doing that, and you know it starts to become, number one, you start to be conscious about it, but number two, once you start to add more habits, or habits that support your lifestyle, it starts to improve the cravings. So that's a good idea. Yeah,
yeah,
avoid them. Yeah,
yeah. That's right. Yeah, and like I said before too, it's about replacing their old habits or bad habits with good ones. With good healthy habits. So yeah,
mm.
problem is just finding those healthy ones.
Yeah, yeah. Um, any skin rashes, use the beef cream. Worked for me. It only took a few weeks for it to clear up. Yes, I have been using tallow on my skin for the last year or so. It's worked wonders. I don't use regular store bought lotions or creams anymore. Yeah, it really works big time. And I'm someone who's
I
suffered
don't
with
use
eczema.
anything actually. I just
Guys, yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I see. Like eczema is actually quite a big problem in Japan. When I was
yeah,
teaching over there, a lot of my students had eczema problems, and a lot of that
yeah,
comes down to the fact that the recent the recent 100 years or so, they've started eating a lot of white flour, okay, like noodles and stuff like that. Um, it's certainly like the same with like rice and things like that. That was never actually a staple diet, except for the fact that they just couldn't afford meat. The peasants always ate plant-based foods because they just didn't get they didn't have the money to buy meat. Whereas the
mm,
oligarchs have all throughout history have always had a lot of meat in their diet. You know, but traditionally Japanese have been big seafood eaters and so on and so on. It's only in the like more recent sort of couple hundred years that they eat a lot of rice and a lot of flour to for noodles and crap like that. And
yeah,
it's getting a lot worse because you get those freeze dried noodle bucket now. The instant noodles.
uh,
Really popular in Japan. And you go to the convenience
yeah,
store and get just pour the hot water into these styrofoam cups, and eat these ridiculous noodle sort of meals.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's really bad.
But that
Really
that
bad.
to add on to that, like that we're talking about healing takes time. This isn't just something that's happened in our generation. This is generational.
No, that's
You
right.
know, um, damage that's occurred. It's all compounded from. You can go back as
Well,
far as
like it
industrialization.
started. Well, even
Yeah,
much
go on.
further, actually. I mean, you could go all the
Yeah,
way
much
back
further.
to
Yeah,
the
agriculture.
agricultural revolution,
Yeah,
10, 12 years ago, 12,000
Yeah.
years ago, where
Yeah.
like entire hunter-gatherer cultures died out, and I think this is what
Yeah.
happened to like the Incas and so on when we went to crops. And the only reason we went to crops at the time is because we had hunted so many species to extinction. We had sort of
Mm.
an energy crisis. You can learn a lot about this from someone like Ambro Hearn. I spoke with her recently.
Mm.
She's brilliant. But we had an energy crisis, a food crisis, because we had hunted so many species to extinction. People wonder
Mm.
why did the mammoths die out? It's because we ate them all, right? Basically,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
ate them all.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know, in the years that followed the agricultural revolution, within 2 generations, we had shrunk. Our entire bone structure had shrunk nearly a foot
Yeah.
in average height. Our brain cavity, our head, skull, and jaws, and teeth problems started happening. And like beforehand, you know,
Yeah.
even now, like 12,000-year-old skulls have, perfect teeth and so on. So
Yeah.
we've lost, a lot in our development. I think that we were far more developed, maybe not as, consciously perhaps, but we were far more developed, 12, 15,000 years ago as in
Yes.
stature, like height and bone structure and so on, than we are
Mm.
today. Um, and over the thousands of years that followed, and we started developing things like oligarchs and so on, they were all, generally speaking, much taller because they were eating meat, whereas all us
Yeah.
peasants were stuck with crops, and
Mm-hmm.
breads and so on, and grains and so on and so on and so on. So we were always much smaller.
Mm.
Um, and entire civilizations you died out through those, the first few thousand years that, um, going from hunter gatherer to agriculture, because of the culture just could not survive on grains.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
that's where we are at today. So
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
All right, guys, we're at the hour and 42-minute mark. If you guys got any final questions, please feel free to ask them along. Um, we've got here from DC 111. My boss is about
My boss
400
is about
pounds.
400 pounds.
Whew. I've
Wow.
been talking to him for 2 years now and told him quitting sugar is the first step. Do you agree? Yes, 100%.
Oh, absolutely. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The first step should be, quitting sugar. Mostly, well, the first step should be quitting processed foods. Anything in a
Okay.
packet or a box.
Yep.
Okay.
Sugar and seed
Yeah.
oils. Mm.
Sugar and seed oils. I think you got to do these things in steps. Because these addictions are very, like we were talking about before, are very difficult for people to sort of not
Mm.
just. It's not just like a physiological status. It's an emotional thing.
Yeah.
Emotionally, they just can't give up
Huge.
these addictions, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like losing a friend for them, really.
Mm.
So one step at a time. Tell them to
Yeah.
cut back on sugars, for example, but seed oils are just as important. Okay, so
Yeah.
heavily, heavily processed foods, and just do it one step at a time. When they get down, when they've lost a bit of weight, they feel better about themselves because they are losing weight. Then you can start to introduce other things like, hey, maybe you should take out the grains, take out the pastas, and take out the noodles and stuff like that. And then
Yeah.
you just do it slowly. Some people need that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Sugar and seed
Yeah,
oils
sugar
come
does
out of
make
the
you
diet.
hungry.
It
Yeah,
can. Yeah. Gary Fetke showed a slide. Sugar
yeah,
makes you hungry. Carbs make you fat. Seed oils make you inflamed and sick. Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean that's
exactly. Yeah,
you can easily. You don't even have to be on the carnivore diet. I think most people understand that processed
yeah,
foods are terrible for your health. And
yeah. That's right.
those that promote
I mean,
it,
especially if you are
I've
400 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you, I mean, I was just going to say, especially if you're 400 pounds, like you don't have to be carnivore to lose weight. It's going to be very easy to lose weight from that perspective. Like from 400
Yeah.
pounds, that weight will come off very
Yeah.
easily to start with. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, simply by getting rid of sugars and seed oils, just ultra processed foods. Okay, like that is going to make a
Yeah.
very big difference. And like I said, small steps can have a very big impact. Okay,
Huge.
and
Huge
that's
impact. Yeah.
just one step at a time.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. And
Yeah,
and
that's what I would start
you
with.
you can see it. You can see it immediately. I mean, you know, a year ago I used to run these challenges. You know, a 4 week transition into low carb keto, and you know the first week of the challenge it's to cut out sugar and seed oils. Most of the weight that people lose is within that first week just by cutting out sugar and
Yeah,
seed oils. You know,
yeah,
that alone to me that indicates that most people are inflamed, and that weight that they lose is due to lowering of inflammation. So it's, yeah, I think it's the first step that you can do to see changes. But that's not the only thing. Like you could even argue that, yeah, you moving a little bit more, you know, being a little bit more active, adding these certain habits, but to see a visual change in your health and to you know, for you to notice that, wow, it's working, do it. Cut sugar and seed oils, processed
yeah,
foods.
yeah. That's
That
right.
makes a world of
Mm,
a difference. Mm.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah, exactly. So, uh, before we go, too, guys, don't forget the Carnivore workshop
Yes.
coming up in Brisbane in September
Yes.
21st, Sunday 21st. We have a lot of things coming up. We also have um, some surprises coming up, you know, for the event as well.
Yes.
So stay tuned. It's going to be a good event, and
Yeah.
we're going to have both myself and Joff will be speaking. We'll have a Q&A panel, and we'll also have a time for people in the audience, anyone who wants to stand up and have a talk and tell their story as
Yeah.
well. So it's going to be a very interesting event. And
Yeah.
we are also
100%.
obviously, we're talking nutrition wise, we're talking about carnivore diet and nutrition in general, but we're also talking about other modalities that are going to help you progress a lot faster. Okay?
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
to not just to progress faster, but to take your health to a level that you maybe didn't think possible before. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, and really get you over the top. Okay.
Yeah.
So come and join us on the Facebook group as well. We have the
Yes.
Carnivore event, the
Yes.
Carnivore workshop on Facebook. Okay, where we do have
Yes.
we will talk to anyone and answer questions in that group as well. If you have any questions, just you can leave a comment and we will get back to you as well.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
and it also has a lot more information about where you can buy tickets and when the event is and so on.
Mm. Mm. Yep. So
Ross
it's all
currently
gonna
has a
happen,
sore
guys.
neck from lifting something,
Yeah.
he
He
thinks,
think he thinks
but
so.
I
Right?
think it's really the inflammation, from his
Yeah.
wild eating
Hundred
habits.
percent.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like
100%.
muscle strains, any injuries and things like that will take a lot longer to heal as well. If you, I mean, just being carnivore is not going to, make you invulnerable. It's not going to stop injuries happening, but certainly you do heal a lot faster. On the
Yes.
carnivore diet, inflammation is lower, and you get better circulation, better blood flow, and things like that too. So um, yeah, it does make a difference. It really
Huge
does.
difference.
Mm.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, look, just to add on to the note about the Carnivore workshop in Brisbane, you can get your tickets online. It's about $20 AUD for a single ticket, and a group ticket for um, for people that is $60. So it's basically buy three, get the other one for free. Um, and yeah, like DC said, we've got things in store. It's gonna be exciting. We do have sponsors, so I do want to make a shout out now that we have Super Butcher, who will be sponsoring the event. We will be having giveaways as well, which we will update in the weeks to come. We've got the Herd Biltong as a sponsor. We've got Grounded Ginger. We've got Sunshine. Sorry, Sunskin and Co. As a sponsor as well. So we are gonna be having a lot of things happening. There's gonna be many opportunities to connect with local businesses as well, to help support your health and well-being, not just through the carnivore diet, but with other lifestyle and modalities. So it's going to be a big one. We're really excited. Yeah. And this isn't going to be the last. This is, we are hoping to get the ball rolling for future events.
This is just the first one. Yeah.
This is just the first one. Potentially in future workshops or events that are going to be happening, we may have speakers, well-known speakers,
some very big speakers actually.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So
actually for next year's event, we actually have a few names that we just need to align our times, right?
Correct.
That are coming or that are going to be in the area at the time and are going to come and speak for us. Okay.
Yes.
So look forward to that, because
yes,
like Geoff said, this is just the first of hopefully many, but the event will grow and it will get bigger every year. So looking forward to this one. It's going to be a great event. We have giveaways, we have sponsors like Super Butcher and others. And it will be fun. It will be fun. It's only a 4-hour event this year, but depending on the speakers next year, maybe a weekend event. It's going to be quite big.
Weekend, full day. Who knows? Yes. Yep. We're this is a first for not just you guys. It's a first for us as well. So we will do our best to really make this event memorable and to really bring you guys together and to just connect, bond, build a community, and this is not going to be the last. There will be more.
Because that's what it's about. It's about that too. It's not just about bringing you information. It's also about building the community.
That's it.
And we haven't had any events like this in Brisbane as yet, which is why we are doing it, because we pretty much just got tired of other people, waiting for other people to come and do it. So we're going to do it ourselves, and it's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to build. Hopefully, it'll be just the base for building a very good community here in Brisbane as well. And like we said, I think the first of many, hopefully, and we might even. It might even end up growing beyond just Brisbane as well. So we'll see.
We'll see. All right. Well, I think we can cap it at that. Boss man, I think let's, for those who are watching, we just want to thank you guys for tuning in. If you are coming to the Carnivore Workshop, if you haven't joined the Facebook group, do so. I will be also keeping you guys in the loop for those who have purchased tickets, through emails. So stay connected, watch this space, and look forward to it. Any final words, brother?
See you then, guys.
All
No.
right.
Just remember, like, just to sign off on that. Just remember, like, give yourself the time. Okay.
Yes.
Don't rush your health. Okay. But
Yes.
yeah, keep a lookout for all those modalities because it really is a combination that, and the synergy of these combinations makes a very big difference to your life. Okay. All right, everyone. It's great to see you.
All right, everyone. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.